it's Megan here from MegaMindful Living, and I'm with Janelle Marchaldon. We are not related, but we just have the same last name. We are going to be talking all things tofu today, and so I invited Janelle here after we met at a women's health event, and yeah, I wanted to kind of get her professional opinion on tofu and to share with all of you guys, because we answer a lot of questions about tofu and protein at the till, and so I thought, well, let's get advice from someone who's a little bit more educated and a lot more educated. and yeah, so this is Janelle here, and I'll let her introduce herself and her business.
Thank you for the introduction.
Yes.
So I'm Dr. Janelle Marchaldon. I am a naturopathic doctor here in Midland, Ontario. Husband and I own the clinic Wisdom of Nature clinic just downtown Midland on Dominion Avenue. He's an osteopath and I'm a naturopathic doctor. And yeah, so I'm just super excited to sit down and talk about tofu, because there's so many big questions and concerns that come up around soy products, tofu being a really common one of those. So definitely want to bust some myths today and just kind of talk about health benefits and different scenarios where it actually can be a really awesome thing to include in your diet.
Yeah, and International Tofu Day is coming up. So this is kind of what sparked this whole thing, because, we are a vegan restaurant, and there is a lot of products that are based around tofu. It's one of the most kind of malleable, the flavors, you can just basically make tofu taste like anything. So personally, as a vegan, I love tofu. It makes me sad when I see people that are like, ooh, anti-tofu. But everyone's different, and we understand that. But yeah, so we're going to be asking Janelle a few questions today. Does soy increase estrogen?
This is such a common question that I get in my practice and in the other teachings that I do. So the way we need to think about soy, including like tofu, edamame, soy milk, all those soy products, is that they are phytoestrogens. So phyto means plant, so it's a plant source of estrogen, but that type of estrogen is actually super, super weak. So if we think about it as like parking spaces, right? So we have our own natural endogenous estrogen that we make, both men and women make their own estrogen, and that will go into the parking space like a car. Right? Good fit, tight fit. It's supposed to be there, right? And then a phytoestrogen fits in that parking space more like a bicycle, right? So it can still fit in there, but it's a much weaker bond to that receptor than our own natural estrogen is. So the concern about it really increasing estrogen levels isn't actually founded in research. Yes, we can see like a slight modulation of estrogen levels, but typically only in the scenarios of really low estrogen. Okay. So in scenarios of like menopause, right, where estrogen's going down, down, and down, we're getting symptoms of low estrogen, like hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, all the other symptoms that come with that. In those scenarios, having more sources of phytoestrogens like tofu can actually be super helpful to help relieve some of those symptoms.
Wow. Yeah. Ooh, I love that. That kind of plays into, does tofu lower testosterone?
Such a good question.
Yeah,
because there's always a concern around men, right? Should men and boys be consuming phytoestrogens, consuming tofu, right? And because of that slight estrogenic effect, that's where like the concern about like feminization kind of comes from, right? In the research, we actually see that tofu and soy products has zero effect on total testosterone, free testosterone, male fertility, and sperm count. So it's actually not a concern according to the research.
Wow. Ooh. Is organic tofu worth it? Is it worth going organic versus non-organic tofu? Because I know we get organic wherever we can, and there's this thing about organic, right? So in the tofu department, does that matter?
Such a good question. So when it comes to organic versus inorganic soy products and tofu, one big thing that comes up is like genetic modification, right? The GMO. So as soon as we see the organic like label on that tofu, we know it's not going to be a GMO. Okay, so it is technically a little bit of a better source in terms of that tofu, but we don't really see a huge impact on health in the research.
Yeah, I always talk about tofu when people come to the till, and they're kind of, you can tell they're like, oh, you don't have chicken, or you don't have, and I say, well, tofu actually is one of the only plant-based proteins that has all 7 essential amino acids. And I kind of, explain that to them. Does tofu, is it a complete protein? Am I giving people the right information there? And yeah, just tofu and protein.
Yeah, good question. So this is something that I had to do my own research on because I was always told, growing up over the years and stuff like that, is like all vegetarian sources of protein are incomplete sources of protein. Mm-hmm. So they don't have all those essential amino acids. Tofu is one of those unique things that does, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, when we're comparing tofu to things like chicken or beef or pork, it has all the same, essential amino acids, all 9 of them.
Nine. Okay, there's even more.
Yeah, there's even more.
Okay.
But what the only difference between tofu is that they're a little bit lower in like methionine and cysteine amino acids compared to things like chicken or other animal sources of protein. But yeah, it is a complete protein source, which is pretty cool. So when we're talking about fueling properly as a vegan, we often have to say, okay, let's combine 2 incomplete proteins to make a whole. Tofu is already whole with all those essential amino acids.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome.
I know. I always kind of explain to people about, because they're wanting to get all of the right proteins and amino acids and just nutrition, right? And when you're eating a variety of foods, it's just naturally going to happen, right? That you're going to, so I have a friend, I won't name any names, but they went on like an all carnivore diet. It was a meat only diet, and they were taking protein powders. And if you see on the packaging, it says, it gives you, do not consume more than 2 servings a day, but it also says, like on this specific package was, have this with lots of water. So having that with a meat-only diet, they ended up getting a bowel blockage in the hospital, like fever of 110, severe abdominal pain. And I can't help but think, this is probably a combination of dehydration and way too much of that protein powder and all meat diet. So having a well-rounded diet, for me, that's just one experience. I know other people have been having different experiences on all meat diet, but tofu can probably help with that, I think.
And a huge lack of fiber in the carnivore diet, right? Which is a big thing, but
Can tofu help during menopause?
Yeah, so because it is a phytoestrogen, it can help with correcting those low estrogen levels, bring it up just a little bit to help relieve some of those low estrogen symptoms, like the hot flashes, night sweats, and things like that.
Is there a limit to how much tofu you can eat? Like how much tofu is a healthy amount of tofu? Okay.
Such a good question. So there definitely is like
this one was for me.
Yes.
Because I love tofu and I'm like, okay, I need to know, am I eating too much?
Yeah. And it's something like as a vegan, like it's so easy to kind of like, make that your main protein source. And like, are you concerned about overdoing it, right? So in the research, we want to see, 1 to 2 servings of soy products per day, right? So what's a serving? That would be about a half a cup of tofu, half a cup of edamame, or a cup of soy milk. Those are some examples. So we're looking for 1 to 2 servings of those products that I mentioned. And what those servings will provide is around like 25 to 35 of the isoflavones, which is what the phytoestrogens are. And that's where we get the health benefits from. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. So I think I'm good then. I have some soy milk and I have some soy in my lunch or whatever. And
perfect.
All good. It's everything in moderation. There's this question around soy hurt your thyroid. And I wanted to know if you had any insight on that.
Great question again. So the thyroid, the main concern when it comes to soy consumption and tofu consumption is if we are iodine deficient, we can see a negative impact. If you're iodine deficient, you're likely also hypothyroid at that point and also being treated with levothyroxine or Synthroid. Now, there is an interaction between soy products and levothyroxine. It actually can inhibit the absorption of that medication. So if you're on that medication, separate your tofu consumption, your soy consumption by like a few hours, just to be more cautious by it, but don't have them together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Peppering you with
I love
questions.
it.
You're doing such a good job. Wow. Because we have so much interest on soy.
Yeah.
So is soy inflammatory?
This is a really good question. I'm actually going to look at my notes.
Okay, because this was a good one.
Yeah.
And I know that.
My notes.
Yeah. There's all of this talk right now, and I think about inflammation and certain foods that are inflaming us, and we talk about bloating, and we talk about, and you'll hear people like, oh, I can't eat soy, like my stomach comes out to here, and Yeah, I think that, I mean, some of these answers aren't just like black and white, right? There's so much more that goes into it. Like, okay, but why is that happening? Because something else isn't working, right? But I am always encouraging people, listen to your body. Like, you are the only one who's, in your body, so listen to it. But yeah, that is something that we hear a lot about, is inflammation, and people want to lower inflammation in everything, in every area, right? Like the puffiness, the bloating. So is soy inflammatory?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So because soy has such a interesting reputation, all of us are concerned about inflammation, for sure, as we should be. But actually in the research, we don't see that soy or tofu is associated with increased inflammation. We actually see a decrease in inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein, TNF-alpha, and IL-6, interleukin-6, which is pretty awesome. And this is likely due to the isoflavones, the phytoestrogens, fiber, and the healthy fats that are in that soy product.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's good to know. Okay. So what do you think, this might be delving in a little bit too deep, maybe you have to book an appointment for this question, but for people who are experiencing like severe bloating when they're eating like legumes or beans or soy, what do you think's like actually going on there? Or should we book in to know about that one? Because I feel like that one probably is going to get a lot of people coming through the door.
I'll put a little teaser in there. So a lot of the time when I hear about someone having a lot of trouble when they're eating like legumes, tofu, beans, like all of those things, we have to think that these are really high fiber foods, right? And sometimes our gut microbiome and our stomach acid, our digestive system as a whole, can't really tolerate like a super high fiber diet, right? And often what's happening is like we're having these meals or these foods kind of like once in a while, right? Because they bloat us and we're like, okay, let's like avoid that for a little while, and then we have it again and then it bloats us. And so we're having like these super doses of fiber every once in a while, and our body's just like, what is going on? Like, I'm not used to this, right? So we can get like the fermentation of those fibers, which is a good thing. But when it's not something we're used to, it can cause so much bloating, gas, stomach pain, like not fun stuff. So what I would love to encourage people to do is like, investigate like the health of your gut microbiome, which is something that I dig into a lot in my practice. And then also make sure that we're supporting all stomach acid production and like the enteric nervous system that controls the, motor actions within your gut to make sure things are actually moving along properly and not just sitting there fermenting and causing that uncomfortable bloating and abdominal pain and stuff. Yeah.
See that? That makes so much sense. I think I definitely need to have we need to have some more time together. So we don't want to go too long here because we want to respect everyone's time. But yeah, so this is Janelle, and she's with Wisdom. She has all of the wisdom. And you can just find her and her husband. I have seen him a few times. He's amazing. We can't wait for our more future kind of one of these that we can talk about. So if you guys have if you guys have any sort of questions, anything that is on your mind, we are looking forward to doing more of these. So let us know. And thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Bye.